So in the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned also the strikes and all the things that happened within the films industry
Yes.
in the US in particular. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because I just heard it always through third party comments,
Yes.
so, and I don't have a really good understanding of what
So
was going on there.
yeah, a part of it was because of AI when it started kind of growing into these companies. Some of the companies started to using that to replicate the actors. So they would hire an actor for a day and then have a signature from them that it's okay for them to use their image or their voice,
Hmm.
and then they would be able to generate it with AI again and use it on a different episode, but not pay the actor because they already recorded them for one time. So that wouldn't be fair to acting. And so that was the actors' strike when happened. And then the first one was the writers, which was the writers are, they're 20, 30-year-old in the industry writing, TV shows and films, and all of a sudden you can just have the AI write you an episode about, uh, you know, uh, a detective in Hawaii and, this and that. And then they would just, get a whole script ready. And that wouldn't be fair for the writers either. So then that strike happened and it took about 5 6 months, 5 months, which everything stopped, all production stopped. Um, we had a little backup because there were some shows that we were already doing until they finished.
Hmm.
But because there was no production at all for 5 6 months, then obviously, even if they start there, it would take another few months for us to get the post production materials done. So and it took a lot more than that. We kept expecting that, oh yeah, next month it's going to be, it's going to start. Next month it's going to start, and once they
Hmm.
start, it's going to be so much work that we can't even, you know, uh, finish or whatever. So we kept waiting, kept waiting, kept waiting, and there's so much you can wait. Like you need to work, you need to do something. So I was trying to do anything I could, from driving Uber to working and doing other things. I remodeled a couple of kitchens, doing kitchen remodeling. I did so
All right.
whatever I could just to survive until the resume of the industry. But until this day, it hasn't resumed. It was almost about to kind of gradually come back, but then now the fires happened, and that kicked a lot of things back again. Um, so it's about a year, more than a year, I would say, that I haven't had Foley good Foley work to do, uh, or other work. But I've been working whatever I can, tuning pianos, trying to do whatever I can in my field of um, experiences. Um, but as far as the industry goes, I think it will take maybe another year. I
Hmm.
feel like it might take another year, um, because a lot of companies, big companies, and mm, you know, um, production companies, they all started switching to outsource their work to other countries because they're not going to wait 6 months to figure out what the union says or the rules change or how much AI can they use, how much AI they can't use, or are they really going to comply to those rules, or who's going to check if they did or they didn't. I mean, there's a lot of gray area, so that will take time for everything to be in order. It's a chaos right now. So the companies, they're like, you know what? Don't worry about it. We can just hire other countries. Send it to Canada, Ukraine, other European countries, or Brazil, or whatever, um, that we can get the project done. It doesn't have to be in the U.S. So now, because that has happened, and there's a drastic, mm, um, cost difference. There's a huge cost difference. If you're doing a show here in America versus a show that's going to be done, the post production to be done in Europe. there's a big difference of post-production cost that, and of course they're gonna love it. They're not gonna, there may be quality differences in some of the stages that they don't produce as good as a job. But if it's Foley already that nobody notices, and they can always lower the volume and not have so much of that play in a mix, then, you know, why pay so much more and have it done in the US? That's
Yeah.
kind of the argument. Which we tried very hard to keep whatever we could in the US and not have the supervisor send it outside, or so that the economy can still, run. Um, but still, how much can we do as, as a um, stage or as a crew? It needs to be a unity of everybody together deciding this, and having an united decision. But unfortunately, it's not like that. So, and I feel like um, there will be so much AI generated content within the next like 6 months or a year that it has to go to the extreme first, and then for everybody to realize that's not what they want, and then come back to mm, genuine produced story based features and films, like independent movie makers and filmmakers. So it will make a full cycle at some point, I think.
Hmm.
It will take some time, but um, you will probably see so much fake created content that at some point you'll be like, yeah, what? I don't want to see anything that's generated with AI anymore. I just want a regular, created something that's story driven and real stories, not just like fake stories and no, 1, 2, 3, 4 sequels. And eventually people will get tired of that, and I think it will come back to the artistry
Hmm.
again, which maybe back then I will get a call for some some work.
So
But
apart from um, tuning pianos and building kitchens and driving Uber, I think you also started your own post-production company, right?
back in 2014, yes, I tried to create a company, because in case another company wants to hire me as a third party vendor, or I can get paid as a third party vendor and to do services for them, or mixing or editorial, then I created a corporation, so that I could use it for those instances. And I have, and some people prefer to hire me as a company. Some people prefer to hire me as a person. So I give the client both options. You
Mm.
can hire my company if you want, and then pay my company, and then my company will pay me. Or you can hire me as an individual. If I'm an employee, then they should hire me as an individual. But if I'm not an employee and a subcontractor, then they could hire my company.
All right.
Yeah.
You work mainly on your own, so you don't have a team around you at the moment.
Not at the
With
moment, but yes. But all the people that I know in the industry, I've known who's good at what. I can always, gather a good team or build a good team to work with.